Welcome everybody to Between Plays. Today we're going to be looking at E3 Metals. They have a direct lithium extraction. I'm really hyped about this stock. There's a lot of different companies out there that are doing great. This is a company, the extraction methods that they have and what they're able to utilize to do it is just crazy. Definitely if they manage to get to full production, which I really believe is going to happen, they have been right up to date with basically all the procedures and steps that they need. It's just been going really smooth. So let's just go take a look at that. All right, here we have E3 Metals. We're going to go through a little bit of the corporate sheet over here to make sure that we understand a little bit of the company. Now, for the ticker symbols, we're going to get, for the TSX Venture, it's ticker ETMC. For the over-the-counter, you're looking at ticker EEM as in Mike, M as in Mike, F as in Foxtrot. So EEMMF. Okay. When we look at E3 Metals, we're going to be looking at a company that's going to just be able to extract this lithium like right out of the brines of these big corporations that have been existing in Alberta producing oil. Basically, there is no brine. The ESG on this is insane. When you look at the capabilities that they have, you're just going, wow, this thing goes to production. It's absolutely crazy. And we're talking about 7 million tons of lithium. At the same time, they can expand this. So you're looking at one of the 7 biggest, largest resources, and at the same time they can expand this. Now look, they can go, once this technology is commercialized, you're just going to say to yourself, well, why this is like the safest method. This has like basically no environmental impact, because you're just taking the brine, you're extracting the lithium from the brine. So you're not even taking the brine, you're taking the, and whatever that it is that it pulls out, that's the extra stuff, the impurities, well, it's just put right back into the brine aquifer that's already existing. So this can actually exist alongside gas producing companies as they're producing. So I mean, E3 Metals has a very bright future. Let's just go take a look at whatever it's got to say over here. So when you look at the corporate, we have E3 Metals Lithium Resource and Technology Company working towards the production of lithium products to power the growing electrical revolution based in Alberta. E3 Metals Clearwater project is being developed on the backbone of the mature and sophisticated oil industry that will allow the company to catapult its development. Look, it's a no-brainer. They even say that they're developing this on the backbone of the mature and sophisticated oil industry. Think about their reach. Now, in Alberta, that's another thing too. This is based off in Alberta. You have the Alberta government that's also invested through the, we'll get the name because you know how you're supposed to remember everything by heart, but I'll show you the name of how Alberta is involved in this as well. Always good. So here, this is the one I wanted to show you, all right? So E3 Metals awarded 1.8 million Alberta Innovates grant. So Alberta Innovates is actually the province. It's the province that's giving out money in order to get what they need. So if you look here, the Minister of Energy, Sonia Savage, commented, capitalizing on Alberta's mineral potential will help diversify our economy, create jobs, and contribute to the province's long-term economic recovery. We believe Alberta has a prime opportunity to be at the forefront of global mineral exploration and development because of our wealth of natural resources and experience as a global leader in responsible development. This E3 Metals pilot project is a great demonstration of the kind of potential that exists and is another example of Alberta ingenuity in action. Minister of Energy, Minister of Jobs, Economy and Innovation. Lithium is going to be a big piece of Alberta's future economic diversification and growth. By creating the infrastructure to supply the global needs for batteries and other low-emission products, Alberta can be a global player in mineral extraction. We greatly appreciate the continued support from Alberta Innovates, commented Chris Dornbus, CEO of E3 Metals Corp. The $1.8 million being contributed toward the pilot plant development work ongoing here in our facility in Calgary and eventually on the project site in Alberta. This will greatly assist in the laying of the foundation for commercial lithium production in Alberta. We are very excited to be the leading force in the economic diversification for the province. So about Alberta Innovates. Alberta Innovates is a provincially funded corporation. That's what's important here. With a mandate to deliver 21st century solutions for the most compelling challenges facing Albertans. They do this by building on the province's research and technology development strengths in the core sectors of health, environment, energy, and food and fiber, and platforms such as clean technology, digital technology for business transformation, data-enabled innovation, and innovative production and distribution. They work with partners to diversify the provincial economy, improve environmental performance, and enhance Albertans' well-being through research and innovation. So basically, E3 preliminary economic assessment on its Clearwater project outlines a US $820 million net present value after tax, pre-tax of USD 1.1 billion. The project's internal rate of return is 27% after tax and 32% pre-tax. E3 Metals' direct lithium extraction technology obtains over 90% recovery and drastically increases the concentration of lithium while reducing impurities by over 99%. Through the successful scale up its DLE technology towards commercialization, E3 Metals' goal is to produce high purity battery grade lithium products with a significant lithium resource and innovative technology solutions. E3 Metals has the potential to deliver lithium to market from one of the best jurisdictions in the world. So as part of E3 vision for a brighter energy future, we plan to deliver our lithium products with reduced carbon emissions while utilizing 97% less land and consuming no fresh water. Let's take a look at the technology. E3 Metals direct lithium extraction technology. So E3 DLE ion exchange technology uses a proprietary sorbent designed to be highly selective towards lithium ions. It quickly and efficiently reduces large volumes of low-grain brine into a high-grade lithium concentrate in one step, simultaneously removing nearly all impurities. This produces a very clean product for the development of high-purity lithium compounds used in lithium-ion batteries. Batteries for electric vehicles are the fastest growing market. Okay, we know all that stuff. Saline formation waters in E3's Clearwater project area contain lithium, as well as high levels of dissolved solids. To effectively extract and concentrate lithium from the saline formation water, special sorbents are required that have a high affinity for lithium, while simultaneously rejecting unwanted ions and metals. So basically, it's got a solution that just says, okay, well, we don't want you, we don't want you, we don't want you, and we want you, so let's suck that up, all right? Over the past 5 years working in partnership with the University of Alberta, private labs, and now at our development facility in Calgary, E3 has developed and optimized a highly lithium selective sorbent perfect for the extraction of lithium from our brines. These sorbents selectively attract lithium from saline formation water and produce a clean lithium product stream with low levels of unwanted ions. What's really great about this is it's like they're sucking up oil. Think about how many years and how much cost it is with spodumene lithium. Okay, so hard rock. You got to create an open pit, you got to mine, or look at evaporation ponds. Evaporation ponds take years for the water to evaporate. You're utilizing a lot of land, a lot of fresh water. So when you look at what E3 Metals is able to give us, you're looking at a very different way of enacting. You're not doing the DLE from the clay sands and all this kind of stuff. You're taking it from the tailings that already exist, that we've been putting there for the last 100 years. You know, if you think about it, when cars started out in the 1920s, we pretty much started at this point, you know, there's about 100 years of, well, there is actually 100 years for sure of oil tailings. Anyways, let's keep on going with this. Over the past 5 years, working parts, okay, we said that. Lab results demonstrate over 90% lithium recovery, over 99% impurity removal, calcium, magnesium, sodium, 20 to 100 times lithium concentration factor. As you can see, raw lithium brine goes in up to 99% lithium recovery. Brine without lithium leaves the system for injection back into the reservoir. So it goes back into, it's a loop system, back into the brine. Then you have here the lithium ions are absorbed selectively to solid chemicals, highly selective for lithium, acts like a chemical filter. Stripping fluids removes the lithium ions to produce a high grade quality purity concentrate. So lithium concentrate comes out this side. So everything's happening in this process. Other than lithium producers typically rely on one of two methods to produce lithium. As we were talking here, evaporation ponds, salars, these produce slowly concentrate lithium in ponds as evaporation takes place. It could take up to 1 to 2 years. This process occurs over many months, requiring large amounts of water and significant surface disturbance for ponds. Lithium mines. These producers remove waste rock, overburden, to uncover the lithium host rock and dispose of the overburden waste dumps. We're talking about lithium mines is because we're using the spodumene, okay? Rock. Lithium. Lithium-bearing rock is mined, crushed, milled, and processed to produce a lithium concentrate and a tailings stream. The tailings stream must be stored in a tailings impoundment. These mines are energy-intensive and cause significant land disturbance for waste dumps, open pits, and tailings ponds. So if we're going ESG, 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 and you have Canada looking at all this, and we're supposed to be going green, 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 well, we automatically can look at E3 Metals as a leader because you're already using the tailings that exist. So E3 proprietary low energy DLE process has several advantages over these producers. The process is fast. We recover lithium within minutes and not months. As I'm telling you, this just comes right out like as if you're getting oil because the tailings are there, like as if the oil was there, and you're using not the same technology, but similar type technology. So people who worked in the oil industry can transfer that knowledge into this industry. The process has a much smaller land disturbance footprint. In E3's process, saline formation water is re-injected back into the formation. We don't require evaporative ponds, mining waste dumps, open pit mines, or tailing ponds. So they don't even require tailing ponds. That's exactly what I'm saying because it's going back. It's a loop system. The process requires minimal fresh water. E3's process only uses saline formation water from formations far below the groundwater table and returns the saline formation water back to the same formation. We don't require large volumes of fresh water. So they can use the saline water, so salt water basically, with a very small amount of fresh water. And they return back the water which is underneath the fresh water table. Very environmentally conscious here. Sustainability. Basically, we're looking at their goals here. Reduced carbon emissions. Tailing ponds is low. Actually, tailing ponds, it says low, and I'm thinking almost nearly non-existent when it says low because of the fact that it has like a loop system, correct? Fresh water usage is low, and land use is 3%. Now, when it says 3%, we're talking about it's 3%, let's say, evaporation ponds. Uses 3% of brine. Now, just think about that. All these companies that we look at in Argentina and in Chile, all these brine projects, this uses 3% of what's supposed to be the lowest cost, easiest way of getting something. You're going to have a low capex here as well, right? Because they don't need to mine. They don't need to create these brines. They're just going and sucking it up. You're looking at very low cost. We can look at it here. So we can deploy technology and expertise to sequester the CO2 from the exhaust and dispose into the aquifer and procure renewable energy sources. With the tailing ponds, 100% of the brine brought to the surface for lithium extraction will be recycled back into the aquifer in the same condition. So it says low, I guess because they have to, but it's saying 100% here. So fresh water usage. No fresh water consumption is anticipated. The project may actually be a net producer of fresh water, which is crazy because if you look at it, even in South America and stuff like that, they're basically using the aquifers that exist in order to get the evaporation ponds to function. And there's if you look at what's been happening in Chile since like 2016, the big thing is about the fresh water that's being used up in order to get this lithium extraction. You're using up whatever fresh water you have in dry desert. If you know what I mean, like, so, and there's animals that do use these waters that do come down, right, from the mountains or wherever, the aquifers and stuff like that. So the water in those areas are very important. This is why you see what's happening in Chile. You can see the Aboriginals and the environmental people are going, hey, listen, it's affecting, the animals that come here, like the flamingos. Those are one of the animals, the birds that are being affected down in Chile. For the land use, only like a percentage, approximately 3% of land will be required for E3's development compared to similar sized conventional lithium projects. So basically what it's saying here is that, let's say it's taking out 20,000 tons of lithium per year. Well, they're only using 3% of the land that those other projects would be using. Basically, let's put it that way, and that's the easiest way to look at it. If we go to Investor Center, this is it right here, the corporate presentation, E3 Metals growth strategy. So basically the plan. Optimize operations. So our primary goal is to be producer of high quality lithium products for the globally expanding battery market, operating similar to petroleum here in Alberta. So important to understand that, because as we move away from petroleum, Alberta is going to be in trouble. They're going to need to then transfer the knowledge into lithium for lithium extraction. And E3 Metals is providing a solution for Alberta. We have the advantage of a mature industry and stable workforce ideally suited for commercial lithium operations. Alberta brines to battery grade. E3's technology is engineered for purity to support the production of high-quality lithium products for direct sale to battery manufacturers. Proprietary tech. Our direct lithium extraction technology has been developed to extract lithium from Alberta brines. I'm looking at it just, it says here being developed to extract lithium from Alberta brines, but I'm thinking it's much bigger than that. Impressive team. E3 has assembled a high-performing, diverse team, and we're still growing. Skill, expertise, and attitudes are critical to our success. Small footprint. The simplicity of our design enables minimal tailings, freshwater use, and land disturbance. Our goal is to be one of the lowest GHG emitters in the lithium industry, and I completely believe that this is 100% possible. And not only possible, I don't see how it's not going to be, because if you think about it, they don't need to do anything. They just need to go get the tailings that's there and just extract the lithium from the tailings. It's just crazy. So we are all well capitalized to accomplish major milestones as we continue to scale up our process towards commercialization. Now, I even was reading some other stuff. The amount of cash that they have on hand is good, like 5.9 years. Simply Wall Street, and we can see here that it says, therefore, from March 2021, it had 5.9 years of cash runway. So it's not the only thing to measure cash burn, but if you look here with the amount of money and everything like that, so even though it's reduced its cash burn recently, shareholders should still consider how easy it would be for E3 Metals to raise more cash in the future. Companies can raise more capital, either debt or equity. One of the main advantages held by public listed companies is you can sell shares. But it says here, E3 Metals has a market cap of 91 million and burned through 2.5 million last year, which is like 2.8%. company's market. That means that it could issue easily a few shares and might be well in a position to borrow. So is it a worry? It may already be apparent to you that we're relatively comfortable with the way E3 Metals is burning through its cash. So he thinks its cash runway suggests that the company is on a good path. On this analysis, its cash burn reduction was its weakest feature. So there you go. Robust resource delineates 7 million tons of lithium resources, the 7th largest globally, and still have significant, I like that word, significant room for growth in a world-class jurisdiction. You're not going to have problems in Alberta to go get lithium if oil is out. If oil is out by 2030, not out by 2030, but out by 2050, but if they have no choice because all cars will be working on, lithium solid state batteries, whatnot, but lithium will be the base of that. I know that some people will be talking about there's sodium. I'm not worried about that in the near future, and I do not believe that in the near future that we have to worry about anything of that source, just because of the fact they're at the stages of where lithium was 20 something 30 years ago or 40 years ago. Time goes by so fast that you almost don't even see it anymore. But they're at the stage of when lithium first started for sodium, and putting them in your watch, they don't have that capability in order to be at this level. Okay, so let's continue going here. Management team, award-winning team with diverse expertise. President, CEO, founder E3 Metals industry, expert specializing in the development of major projects, capital raising and M&A. Raymond Chow, CFO, over 16 years of finance and accounting experience and entrepreneurial high-growth companies, banking and corporate advisory services. Liz Lappin, VP Corporate Affairs and Exploration, over 16 years of expertise in Alberta's energy industry, working for some of Canada's largest oil and gas producers. Perfect to have her on board. Jonathan Nielsen, Director of Technology, Process Development and Optimization, oriented metallurgical engineer with 30 years experience. Chris Ward, Manager, Process Development, over 25 years of experience operating, troubleshooting, designing, budgeting, and executing mining and mineral processing projects. Peter Ratzlaff, Senior Production Engineer, over 25 years of experience in production and operations, engineering, and capital project management. So we got a really great team here. Now we know that the industry is going towards EVs. We don't have to look at that. We know that. Increasing supply demand gap for lithium hydroxide. Basically, we know that there's going to be a lot of lithium missing in the future. Not just here. No matter where you look, we can go and Google a compounded annual growth rate, CAGR, for lithium, and you're going to see it doesn't keep up. The demand is the rise of electric vehicles. Although Tesla, Elon Musk, started this a while back, he had to bail out Tesla twice, I believe. Once COVID hit, it's like a whole other world just began. We're pretty much on the way here at an astronomical exponential rate. And this is what we saw earlier about the loop system. The brine without lithium leaves the system for injection back in the reservoir, and the lithium concentrate comes out here. Rapid and high recovery. This is the innovation combined with existing process, direct lithium extraction. 7 million tons inferred, already identified, 7th largest resource globally, and ability to expand resources across the Leduc and Nisku. I mean, this is going to be huge. There's a preliminary economic assessment on the Clearwater project, brine production. We can see how it works over here. Production well, pad 1, wells, pad 2, pipeline, injection wells, 21 wells, 2 pads, and direct lithium extraction, DLE central process facility right here. And they just basically suck it up. So you have here a proprietary ion exchange extraction process, and then it basically goes into a lithium solution. You have your polishing and purification, Now you have your pure lithium solution, so you have battery-grade lithium extraction. 15 kilometers of underground pipeline to a central facility. 100% disposal of lithium void brine. Back into the tailings. Pre-treatment for brine conditioning to DLE plant using E3's DLE technology to create high-purity concentrate lithium. And then lithium polishing production over here. Refinement of lithium ion into battery-quality products. Current goal is lithium hydroxide monohydrate. So that's the current goal now, is lithium hydroxide monohydrate. So 1.1 billion net present value pre-tax. Sustainable lithium is possible with E3's technology. Reduce carbon emissions by operating a gas-fired powered facility within the project site. E3 can deploy local technology and expertise to sequester the CO2 from the exhaust and dispose into the aquifer and procure low-emitting electricity. No tailings ponds or open pits. 100% of the brine brought to the surface for lithium extraction will be placed back into the aquifer. This is a great way of looking at it here. Lithium-enriched brine. So this is all the tailings you have from the oil that created it. Goes into the plant, does the 3 steps, just puts it right back into the brine. The power that comes in over here, the CO2 that it creates, so it has carbon capture technology, which goes back into here, into this area, and combines with the tailings. They combine and goes right back in to the saline brine aquifer. So use here, so only 3% of land will be required relative to similar sized evaporation and hard rock projects. So just imagine how much land is being saved here. Industry-friendly jurisdiction, the Alberta advantage, and this is great for Canada, and this is great for E3 Metals. This is like the cleanest way of doing it. Stable and mature oil gas regulatory regime. Lithium brine production is largely similar to oil and gas. As I was saying earlier, lithium and oil and gas can operate concurrently, so it could work at the same time. So it doesn't have to wait till gas is gone. No, we can work at the same time. It's all good because I'm just taking your tailings. The regulatory framework for the oil and gas is well understood. Available infrastructure and expertise. So underutilized workforce with applicable expertise. Repurposing oil and gas infrastructure could minimize environmental impacts. Low-cost resource delineation. Government supportive of economic diversification. So you see the government is supportive of the economic diversification. Alberta is industry-friendly and entrepreneurial-minded. Lithium production could be supported by a local workforce, adding value to Alberta's economy. They're going to need to do that. So global lithium sources, we know about the hard rock. So this is known as spodumene. And then, of course, the brines, evaporative salars. So here, they're just saying here, this is energy and capital intensive for hard rock mining, large environmental footprint. Salars, brines, as in South America, mostly. Conventional evaporation process for brine concentration. Slow process with large environmental footprint. Direct lithium extraction. Faster production with higher recoveries. Limited to no tailings. Minimize freshwater use. So you have here the ion exchange. So you have the absorption. So lithium chloride molecule is brine physically absorbed into the sorbent and removed with stripped solution. Lithium ion brine chemically absorbed into solid ion exchange material and swapped for other positive ion. Solvent extraction. So this is the solvent I was mentioning before. Liquid phase with absorptive or ion exchange type removes the lithium from the brine. Well-funded development plan. E3 goals to continually scale the process technology towards commercial production. Commercial optimization, finalizing the chemical development for direct extraction of lithium. Lab pilot development operation parameters for process condition of DLE. So we're at the field pilot now. Construction of operating a field-based pilot in Alberta. Aquifer management plan, production well testing. Well flow testing for brine production. Search for plus milligrams of lithium, liters of lithium, sorry. Initiate resource upgrade. Geology and geophysical detail review. Existing data for measured and indicated upgrade area. And this should be in 2022. So imagine you're going to go from 7 to God knows what. 7 million tons to God knows what. Lithium hydroxide. Scale up production. As DLE process generates increased lithium solution. Demonstrate 5.9. Outline battery quality lithium and pre-feasibility study. And here's the road to commercialization here. We just finished this, and this is all working according to plan. complete field-based pilot plant, pre-feasibility study, and upgrade your resource is all going to be happening in 2022, 2023. I'm expecting the stock to really jump up for this pre-feasibility study, especially when you're going to get that upgrade resource after the feasibility study. You're never going to, I don't believe you'll see this stock at these prices anymore. I think that 2022, once this is completed, I'm looking at the stock price significantly going up. Your PFS study significantly going up even more. And once you get this upgrade from 7 million tons, to whatever amount of millions of extra tons that they're going to have, because it even says that they could significantly increase. They wouldn't do it for 50,000 tons. Not when you got 7 million. I'm sure they're going to be adding millions to this. Alberta desperately will need this by 2030 as we see more EV. I'll give you an example. Around my area, I've seen gas stations closing down. Not gas stations, excuse me. Let me correct that. I've seen around my area garages shutting down. There's a lot of electric vehicles around where I live. At the same time, I was at a garage basically getting something corrected on my vehicles, and it wasn't even broken. It was a vibration of the muffler, and basically has to fix my muffler was vibrating a little bit because I had put a hitch on and it was now touching the hitch, so we had to just correct that. And I decided I was going to ask this guy some questions. I was like, listen, with the EVs all coming out everywhere, what are you going to do? He already basically told me that he can't even find workers in his area anymore. He doesn't even know if he can stay open. Think about this. He doesn't even know if he can stay open for another 10 years because he can't find workers. Now, think about this. Because I'm sure people don't think about this. Because I didn't think about it. I was just saying, hey, how are you going to stay open when, the EV industry is coming over here and basically you won't have a car? Like, what are you going to do? You're going to update, you're going to update your system here. You're going to, get rid of oil changes, and you're going to get rid of spark plugs or whatever the hell. You're going to get rid of everything that you're used to having here. And what are you going to do? You're going to put in a battery management system and stuff like that in order to, how are you going to do this? Do you have to go back to school? And I was asking him a whole bunch of questions because, naturally, I'm an investor, and you got to ask a lot of questions. And sometimes you got to get out there and get dirty, right? So this guy, nice individual, by the way, he's telling me, forget about switching and all that kind of stuff. I'm already going too. I'm not looking at the basics. He can't hire anybody. He can't hire anyone. There's no one working there. He's working there, and I think it was his dad. If I remember correctly, it was his dad. Yeah, I think it was his dad. And they were working together, and he's like, I don't even know if I can stay open for 15 years. There's no way, because he had something like 4 garage doors or something like that. He's like, I don't think I can even stay open because think about it. Why would you want to become a mechanic right now? If you know that in 5 years from now, you're going to have a ton of electric vehicles, and in 10 years from now, 2032, most countries have already no more ICE vehicles, so internal combustion engine, right? By 2030, 2032, 2035, there's a ton of countries that all have it placed by 2028. Some of them are almost there already. 2028 to 2035, a lot of countries know internal combustion engine. Why would you want to, and we always said this, go to school to invest for your future. Why would you want to go to school to invest in your future to become a mechanic right now? It's like going against the grain, It's like sanding, instead of sanding with the thread, you're going on the side and you're just ripping up the wood. It makes no sense. I know if my kids had to choose a profession right now, and my son or my daughter, would say, I just watched Pretty in Pink. No, was it Pretty in Pink or I can't remember the name of the movie where the girl was a mechanic. But anyways, it was one of those movies. But back in the day, and saying, I want to be a mechanic because she was so cool in the film, and my son's going, oh, I want to be a mechanic. I smacked him in the back of the head. I'd be like, what's wrong with you? In 10 years you won't have a career anymore. I'm joking, but you know what I mean. Wouldn't smack them behind the head, but I'd just be like, wake up, you're gonna go and invest in a year, 2. How long is it gonna take you to become a mechanic? How much money is it gonna take for those courses? And after those 2 years you're investing starting now, you're subtracting your 2 years off the 10 years that you have, because 2022 to 2032, 2035, let's say 12 years. You only have 10 years of, and then again, when I say you only have 10 years, how many mechanics, forget about mechanics, how many garages are going to be around? How many garages are going to be around, right? So basically where I'm going with this is like this. At one point, the transition is an absolute. It's an absolute. Because you cannot have an empty workforce with a ton of gas vehicles on the road. You can't do it. My car is going to break. I got no gas station, no garage to go to. So in 10 years from now, how many garages are going to exist if we're moving to EVs? Once we increase the EVs, you're going to have less ICE vehicles on the road, therefore less demand for garages. They're going to be shutting down anyways because you're not going to have people working there, because like this guy said, I can't hire anybody. Nobody wants to come into this field anymore because of electric vehicles. So, I would never tell my kids to become a mechanic now. Listen, I've worked on cars when I was younger with my best friend. All right, he used to work at a garage, and I fucking loved it. I loved working on cars. We pulled down some engines and transmissions, and actually he was crazy because he actually took his whole engine apart and he had to remember where everything went. That was crazy stuff, and it was a lot of fun. It was great. These are amazing memories. And the guy worked so hard. He did mechanic, he pumped gas, the whole 9 yards. Great guy. And the thing is that industry is just not going to exist anymore. It's like saying, let's put it like this: you're going to have a certain amount of cars that are going to be left that are going to be gas, because you're going to have classic cars. You're going to have your classic cars, right? You're going to have some of those, and they're going to have a place to go get gas. So there might be some place that you might still be able to go for your classic car, okay? Because I'm sure you're going to have classic cars around. They're going to be worth God knows how much, but you might have. So maybe that's another place to invest in. Get the wickedest, coolest classic cars ever, and go get yourself a piece of land out somewhere and cover them. Yeah. So it's insane. At one point, there's going to be absolutely, even if people are saying, well, no, you know what? This might be like the 1990s or whatever, when you had the EV1 come out and all this kind of stuff. It's not like that anymore. This is some serious stuff. I mean, everybody's transitioning over. This the green revolution, whatever you want to call it. We're not turning back. The young ones are not going into the field mechanics. They're not taking a chance. They're not going to do it. And if you don't have any mechanics, at one point, you're going to have to say, oh boy, the transition's happening. We're there. And look, there's countries that already... We're moving into a digital age. That's it. That's all. You know, and this our vehicles, these gas oil vehicles, they're not part of the digital age. They don't fit into battery management system, ESS. They don't fit into all this digital technology. You know, right now it's like you're reading a book of the future, and you're seeing, you know, the electric vehicles and the whole 9 yards, and you're seeing, you know, artificial intelligence and everything is talking to each other, Internet of Things. You're watching the future, a movie. You're watching it right now, slowly happening, and that's where we're at. So let's get back to this. So basically, all that to say that a company like E3 Metals, with a very, you know, almost no impact whatsoever on nature, taking from tailings and stuff like that, you're pretty much hitting hard. You're hitting people really hard in the other areas of lithium. Why invest? Combine a massive lithium resource with innovative technology. PA demonstrates US dollars 1.1 billion. So net present value of US dollars. Okay. Anyways, let's get into your 7th largest resource. So anyways, 602 million initial capex. All right. That I think was very important to read. Right. So the US dollars 602 million initial capex and US dollars 3,656 ton OPEX. 7th largest resource in the world. Developed proprietary direct lithium extraction DLE technology to extract lithium from Alberta's brines. Proposed initial development of 20,000 tons lithium hydroxide. So lithium hydroxide monohydrate per year. Potential to expand up to 150,000 tons of lithium hydroxide monohydrate per year. That's just because they're sucking it up like oil. So they don't have to go and get all of these evaporation brines, and they're like going, okay, well, we have to wait a year, let's just say, for the water to evaporate. So we're going to need to buy another salar, and so that we can have some kind of like, okay, this is ready this year, that's ready next year. These guys just suck it up, man. Reduce carbon emissions. ESG focused project development plan aims for minimal land footprint, no fresh water used, and limited carbon emissions. Global growth for electronic vehicles means robust market fundamentals for lithium demand, huge potential growth for E3. So now, if I go over here for volume, we can see that recently E3 Metals in volume is falling just a little bit lower than what we see. We have YPF here, that's a little higher up, but this is in my watch list. We have E3 Metals here. Now, what I like about this is when you look at day ranges, this should have been last week, you can see it's pretty low. And now when you really look at the 52-week range, it is significantly low. It's one of the lowest out there, which means that in my head that this is a great entry point. And let's go take a look at that. We can see all these years previous. When you even look at their news announcements, nothing really going on. They're working on their technology and stuff like that, but it's not where it is today. Where it is today, this here, I'm surprised, is not higher. I'm sure that in the near future that we will not be on the Bollingers at 245 where it says here, or the mids 230s, or the lowest of 212. When you look at the 50-day moving average, it's higher over here. If I look at the candles itself, we can see a pressure on the up over here. We can see a high pressure moving up. And I honestly believe that when you look at the overall, I don't believe that E3 Metals will be going back down in this area. Not at the stage that they're at. You're looking at pre-feasibility study this year, and you're looking at expanding their resource. And their pilot field project is coming on this year. So when you really take a look at that, the E3 Metals lab pilot prototype initial test delivered 97% lithium recovery. That is greater than the 90% that they were saying. And that's their pilot initial test. So let's just go over here. Look at the brine flow of rates of up to 120 liters per hour. This is what they're separating. The two separates. Like, look, the prototype of E3's largest scale DLE system to date, with two separate trains that are capable of brine flow rates of up to 120 liters per hour. Who else is doing that? No one is doing that. This is like oil. This here is like they're just extracting oil. You just have to make everything run smoothly and extract oil. You're not there like, with the spodumene, the hard rock, and chipping away and doing all this and then bringing it up. And it's none of that. This is like getting the oil. The prototype is currently running the long run test program with one form of sorbent on train 1. So one form of sorbent on train 1. This test will be concluded in mid-late December, with a result expected in the new year. And that's what's coming out in the new year. So I'm expecting the stock to start going up again. Train 2 of the prototype has begun, and the initial test of the second form is with results also expected in the early new year. So you're going to be, and look, we are very excited about these results. So the fact that we see so much high recoveries in this continuous flow system, remember that, in a setup for testing environment is incredibly encouraging as we look towards our process design of the pilot. So the process design of the pilot right here. So all of this is happening this year. For myself, I totally believe that when you look at this and you look at how low E3 Metals is and the low volume, because it's waiting, right? You have a horrible stock market recently, and what's going to end up happening now, and don't forget, it's only a stock market, there's taxes, there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens at the end of the year, there's all the holidays, there's the festivities and all those kind of things. So the market is usually nasty around that time of the year. But they're waiting on news. When I look at what they've accomplished from here shooting up, yes, people took out profits. But as you can see, when it started shooting up over here, anybody above here basically gets stuck in this holding the bag. But they know they're not really holding the bag, because they just wanted to get in it. They feel like it sucks, but they're going to lower down their average, and it increases again. But wait when news comes out in the new year. I'm expecting for this stock to go back above $3. And I don't think that if it goes up at a nice steady rate, I don't think that it'll be coming back below $3. I think it's just going to continue to slowly, incrementally move up with the pre-feasibility study and with the increased resources that they're looking to do, which they say could be significant. So if you take this within, and they're just talking about that little project of Alberta, right? We're not talking about all of the tailings of all these companies and stuff like that. Now, just think about how big this company could be in 10 years' time. I'm just thinking about in the next year or two. So for myself, I think that this is an entry point not to miss, as the next amounts of news will bring it up, because it's already, you can see it is, look, you can see here how fast it goes up and down. Here, if you're looking at the candles, there's just a lot of pressure to go up, and it's just being sucked back down. But the thing is that the pressure just looks like it wants to go. Any kind of news that's positive, that's going to come out in the new year, pre-feasibility study after that, and then you're going to be looking at just a bigger size. I don't see how once the what am I looking for here? Once the pilot plant is up, I don't see how this is ever coming below $3 again. I just don't see it. So yeah, this is E3 Metals. As you can see, there's my portfolio of lithium stocks. I'm not into all these lithium naturally. I'm into a few of them. Arena Minerals is one that I'm also very highly anticipating on some really big growth. And if you look at Arena Minerals here in the lithium plays, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th in the ones that I have. And I'm comparing them to like YPF, which is an oil producer, which currently was in talks with CATL, but we don't know anything that's coming of that. They just, YPF opened up a lithium area department and said, well, if you want, it would be great, And yeah, but we don't know anything yet of that. So, whatever. And when you look at all these guys, a lot of these guys are really big, like FMC, SQM, and we have here, I think we have, so we have Livent, we have Lake Resources, which is out in Australia, Albemarle. We have Vision Lithium, which actually had a pretty good play. So it had some volume on Vision Lithium, FMC, and SQM. Cypress Development, which is interesting that they have at this point, but they also have something that's really interesting, and I'll be doing a video on them as well. And you can see here they went up 10, almost 11%, which is quite interesting at $2.20. But you have Arena Minerals that's still sitting over here, not much under. Now the thing is with Arena Minerals, and I won't get into this too long because this is on an E3 Metals. Arena Minerals, if you have LAC and you have Ganfeng that are involved in a company, there's reasons why. And it's going to shoot up. So Arena Minerals, there was a little bit of a fear thing that came when people saw that, oh my God, is it possible that they're going to do a reverse split and all this kind of stuff? But they were just renewing that reverse split thing because they were saying, well, if there's no volatility in their stock and they're going to need it, they wanted to have it there in their back pocket to be able to use. Doesn't necessarily mean that they will use it. It just, it's good to have all the tools in your shed that you may need one day. So I'm pretty excited about Arena Minerals for 2022, and definitely I'm going to see if I can get an interview with Arena Minerals and with E3 Metals. All right, and actually I'm going to try to get interviews with everybody. So it's just not going to be those two companies. In my opinion, this is going to be one of the everything is going according to plan. From what I've read, from what I've shown you, if you go to the Yahoo Finance and you do your own research, which I always tell everybody that you should do your research, okay? You should always know your ins, your outs, you should know everything. So research, prepare, plan, and execute, right? Very important. And the thing is that if you go and look at all the news that come out on them and everything like that, they're hitting all their marks. Everything is working well. Think about the royalties that they could even make if they outsource this. Like, let's say they have Alberta, right? And their technology is so amazing, and they're doing it all across Alberta. They become global leaders. That's how I look at it. So I am invested in E3 Metals. Okay, I am invested in E3 Metals. But when you look at the technology and everything like that, it's hard to say how would you not invest in the company. I'm invested in a few lithium plays, that's for sure, because we are going away from ICE vehicles. I think long term, E3 Metals could probably just outdo everybody in the end. Because a lot of you might be thinking, well, we have direct lithium extraction for clay. Okay, sure. But where's all the water rights for that? You know, will there be problems? Let's say like Thacker Pass with the Aboriginals and the environmental groups. There's problems there now. There's some problems in some places in the United States because there wasn't a set up protocol in that state for mining and everything of lithium. Because they were like, well, no one's ever going to touch anything here in the desert. There's nothing to take here. Then there was. So now they're putting certain things up. And if you don't have enough water, aquifer, if you don't have enough, good luck. You're going to have to try to get water rights. How much water can you use? What's the amount that you're allowed to take per year? So even in the brine itself, I see it. It's very hard to compete against 120 liters per hour. No tailings. It goes right back in. You're piggybacking off of oil. It's already there. No fresh water. You could use saline water, or very minimal amount of water, or net producer of water, and so you don't have to worry about water whatsoever, and you have the tailings right there. This technology could basically go and take all the oil from around, all the brines around the world, basically, and create all the batteries that's needed, and then just use battery recycling technology. At 120 liters per hour and that's not even commercial size. Think about it. That's pilot. That's the test. That's the test one. So imagine commercial size. What are they going to be pumping? What, 200 liters per hour? That's insane. Who's going to be able to compete with this when everyone else is going to be like, well, you can only have 20,000 tons per year on that one because you're going to be using this amount of water. We won't allow you to drain the aquifer. We won't allow you to do this. We won't allow you. No, your permit says this amount for this amount. Your permit says this amount for this amount. Okay, so you're only going to get 20,000 tons here. Okay, so Ganfeng, you want to be the largest lithium producer on the planet still? Okay, well, if you can only take 20,000 tons from this one, well, then you're going to need to get 20,000 or 30,000 from this one because you're going to have to buy another salar and buy another salar and buy another salar and buy another salar because that's what they have to do because you can't take everything from one salar. You got to go and take from many different salars in order to say, well, I could produce, 100,000 tons of lithium for that year. Well, I mean, these guys can get it to 150,000 tons without having to do any of that. They even said there they can, on that alone, what it was saying is they can go up to 150,000 tons of lithium hydroxide monohydrate per year. And that's just off of, and not doing all this high. That's considered high capex if you're comparing it to that. And the spodumene is going to be even higher capex. So in long term, I see companies like E3 Metals, like the new Suncor. Companies like E3 Metals that can just piggyback off of old tailings and be like net carbon zero, less than 3% land is disturbed. Because imagine, that's off one project, but imagine all those other brines that have to open up all across to come and get 150,000 tons. That's it for me, everybody. Always remember, research, prepare, plan, execute, and stay strong. Stay strong. Hello, everyone out there. Just taking 2 seconds of your time and asking you to hit the subscribe and the like button. I'd like to also direct you to betweenplays.com, www.betweenplays.com, where we put up many different articles. We have 3 different writers at the moment, and we're trying to up the authors. And go to our Twitter account for like really quick information at betweenplays1, and we'll be able to get people to pre-market information and whatever comes along that is important to macroeconomics, microeconomics. As we say here, our motto: research, prepare, plan, execute. Always do your due diligence, and stay strong, everybody. Stay strong.